The morning had begun with a deceptive grace for Jordan Hayes. His BMW, a testament to years of relentless hard work, gleamed under the Charlotte summer sun, his favorite playlist a soothing balm in the cabin. For once, things felt calm, settled. At 29, a graphic designer who had meticulously built his own success, he allowed himself a rare moment of pride. That fragile peace shattered instantly when flashing red and blue lights exploded in his rear-view mirror. He pulled over smoothly, instinctively. No speeding, no missed signals, no discernible reason for a stop. Still, he lowered his window, waiting, a faint hope that this would be routine. It wasn't. "Get out of the car, you damn ape." Officer Miller's voice detonated with venom, leaving no room for a response. Before Jordan could even process the words, a punch, brutal and unexpected, smashed into his face. A sickening crack echoed in the sudden silence as a tooth dislodged from his gum. Blood instantly flooded his mouth, metallic and hot, as he crumpled to the pavement. Unseen, a silent witness, a streetlight camera angled perfectly, captured every horrifying second. Jordan lay stunned, the world tilting on its axis, his body a canvas of raw pain. He hadn't even asked why he'd been pulled over. A mundane morning commute had devolved into a nightmare, all because he dared to exist a black man behind the wheel of a nice car. "You steal this car?" Miller barked, his shadow looming over Jordan's prone form. "No, sir," Jordan rasped, the words thick with blood. "I'm a designer. The papers are in the—" "Don't move," Miller shouted, his hand already on his weapon. Jordan froze, his mind a panic scramble. "Hands on hood," came the next order, sharp and unyielding. Trembling, Jordan obeyed, pushing himself up, his head throbbing. Another blow landed, a jarring impact that made him gasp. Then came the cold click of handcuffs, binding his wrists behind his back. His broken tooth, a grim trophy, skittered across the pavement. He wanted to scream, to demand an explanation, but fear had gripped his throat, a suffocating vice. Somewhere inside the BMW, the music continued to play softly, lyrics about dreams and love bleeding into the stark, brutal reality unfolding on the street. A second officer arrived, barely sparing a glance at Jordan's rapidly bruising face. He resisting? "Nah, just being uppity," Miller sneered, a cruel satisfaction in his voice. "Car's probably stolen," the second officer muttered, dismissing Jordan entirely. "Black guy, new BMW. What else is new?" "My name is Jordan Hayes," he said weakly, his voice a desperate plea. "The car is mine. The title's in the glove. A boot connected with his ribs, a blinding flash of pain." He choked on blood and words, his breath leaving him in a ragged gasp. "You don't speak unless spoken to," Miller growled, leaning in, his face inches from Jordan's. "You don't have rights. Not here." Jordan remembered his mother's solemn warnings, his father's tired voice echoing in his mind. Here, being black can kill you. And now here he was on a sidewalk, bleeding, brutalized, simply for fitting someone else's twisted, prejudiced idea of a criminal. Miller clicked his radio. "Possible stolen vehicle. Suspect is African American. White shirt, jeans, resisted arrest." "Do you have proof?" The dispatcher's voice crackled back, routine and detached. "Reasonable suspicion. Black male. BMW. That's all I need." There it was. The real charge. The weight of silence. The power of truth. Hours later, Jordan sat in a precinct. Still cuffed. Still bleeding. The taste of copper thick in his mouth. A bored officer filled out forms. "Name, Jordan Malik Hayes. Profession, graphic designer." The officer blinked, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. "Seriously?" Jordan didn't answer. His lip was too swollen, his energy spent. A door opened. Miller strolled in, laughing with another officer, completely unburdened. He walked past Jordan as if he were invisible, as if nothing had happened. No remorse, no shame. "Car's clean," someone announced, their voice devoid of inflection. "Registered to Hayes." Silence. The desk officer didn't flinch, didn't meet Jordan's eyes. "You're free to go." Jordan stared, disbelief warring with pain. That's it? No charges? No report? But he hit me. I didn't do anything. You didn't comply. That's how it looks. The words were flat, final. Jordan stood slowly, wincing as his muscles screamed in protest. Miller was watching him from the corner of his eye, a faint, unsettling smile playing on his lips. "Watch the teeth you have left, champ," he said, his voice a low, chilling taunt. Jordan turned away without a word. At home. He locked the door, the click echoing in the sudden silence of his apartment. He walked to the bathroom. To the mirror, what stared back at him didn't look like the man who had left that morning. Blood, swelling, a missing tooth, a stranger. He wasn't angry anymore. He was hollow, and he was done being quiet. Later that night, his younger brother, Marcus, watched the raw, shaky footage from the streetlight camera. It had somehow made its way into a whistleblower's hands. The punch, the slurs, the kicks, it was all there, undeniable, laid bare for the world to see. This changes everything, Marcus whispered, his voice trembling with a mixture of horror and dawning realization. Jordan didn't respond. He was staring at the screen, not at the violence itself, but at the moment just before Miller swung. The officer's face was tight with something deeper than anger, hate, and a chilling confidence that no one would ever hold him accountable. But this time, someone had watched. And this time, Jordan wasn't going to disappear into the shadows. He turned to Marcus, his eyes alight with a cold resolve. "Post it everywhere." "But what if—" Marcus began. "Post it." Jordan's voice was sharp, unyielding. Within hours, the video was online, then trending, then exploding. Hashtags, outrage, demand for justice. The mayor issued a carefully worded statement. The department promised an internal investigation. News crews gathered outside Jordan's building, a swirling vortex of media attention. In the flickering shadows of the city, Officer Miller stood by his cruiser, watching the story unfold on his phone, chewing his gum and cursing under his breath. The next morning, Jordan found a letter shoved under his door. No return address. It simply read, "You should have kept your mouth shut. This isn't over." Jordan closed his eyes, his heart pounding, but not with fear. This time it beat with something else entirely. Something coming, something inevitable. A verdict, a voice, a movement. The day the verdict came down, the air in the courtroom was heavy, expectant. Jordan Hayes sat still, his hands clasped tightly in his lap, a testament to his newfound resolve. Across from him, Officer Miller sat stone-faced, no longer in uniform, his badge suspended, his public image in ruins. But the legal outcome still hung precariously in the balance. The judge cleared his throat, his voice cutting through the tension. After reviewing all presented evidence, including unedited surveillance footage, eyewitness testimony, and expert analysis, this court finds Officer Thomas Miller guilty of excessive use of force, racially motivated. The defendant is sentenced to 5 years of probation, stripped of his law enforcement license, and ordered to pay restitution. A permanent criminal record will reflect this conviction. It wasn't the decade behind bars some had hoped for, but it was a first, and it was undeniably public. Jordan stood when asked if he wanted to address the court. He nodded, cleared his throat, and walked to the podium. Every eye in the room fixed on him. "I should be dead," he began, his voice clear and resonant in the hushed courtroom. When he raised his fist and called me an ape, I thought for a second I wouldn't make it, that the pavement would be the last thing I ever felt. Not because I broke a law, but because I didn't look right driving a car I worked for. He paused, letting the words sink in. My life didn't matter to him, but it matters now, because I refused to stay quiet, because people saw the truth, because you saw it too. Then he turned, his gaze locking with Officer Miller's. "I don't forgive you. Not yet. Not because I'm angry, though I am, but because I still wake up from nightmares with your voice in my ears." His voice hardened, but with purpose, not malice. "But I promise you this. I will heal, and I will spend my life making sure men like you can't hide behind a badge again." As he stepped down, a quiet, powerful applause rose to the room, a collective acknowledgement of his strength and resolve. In the weeks that followed, Jordan's case sparked national conversations. Civil rights attorneys cited it in state house debates. Lawmakers introduced new legislation, body cam enforcement laws, anti-racial profiling measures. His name became more than a hashtag. It became a turning point. Jordan received thousands of messages, some angry, some overwhelmingly supportive. One note, handwritten by a grandmother in Alabama, simply read, "You stood for my grandson. Thank you." He replied to every letter he could, each word a step toward healing. One evening, Tamika sat beside him on the steps of the courthouse, watching the sun dip behind the city skyline. "You changed something," she said softly. "I still lost a tooth," he said dryly, a faint, self-deprecating smile on his lips. "You gained a movement," she countered, her eyes warm with admiration. He smiled faintly, eyes tired but warmed by a flicker of hope. A month later, Jordan posted another video. This time, the lighting was perfect, his voice clear, the setting calm, a stark contrast to the shaky, raw footage of his first viral video. "My name is Jordan Hayes," he began again, the same opening, but imbued with a new depth. "And now I know I'm not alone." He recapped the story briefly, then leaned forward, his gaze direct, earnest. "This isn't just about me. It's about what it means to be told you don't belong, that your success is suspicious, that your life can be erased with one lie, one punch, one radio call." He showed photos of the courthouse steps packed with protesters, of children wearing shirts with his name, of lawmakers holding hearings sparked by his case. The final image, his original tooth, still cracked, displayed beside a note that read, "Truth has teeth." He ended the video with a powerful promise. For every person who thought their pain would go unheard, this is for you. For every mother who said goodbye to her son and prayed he'd come home, this is for you. I'm not a hero. I'm just someone who got tired of being afraid. And I know now that even the smallest voice can shake the system. The video closed with a slow fade to black. But the conversation, ignited by Jordan's quiet courage, had only just begun.